I swirled the red liquid in my glass, watching it catch the kitchen light. Marcus sat across from me at our small table,
What
his
if the
own
choices
drink
we've
barely
made
touched.
can't be
We'd been
undone?
married 8 years, and I thought I knew all his questions by now. Have you ever thought about being with a woman? The words hung between us like smoke. I laughed, but something deep in my chest fluttered. Not surprise, recognition. Because yes, I had thought about it in quiet moments. In dreams, I never spoke aloud. Yes, I said, meeting his eyes. But only in my imagination. He nodded slowly, as if I'd confirmed something he already suspected. The honesty
I
felt
remember the way
dangerous
Marcus
and
would look at
electric.
me, and my
I
heart
took
would
another
just
sip,
melt.
letting the wine warm my throat. What made you ask? Just curious. His finger traced the rim of his glass. You know, I've always been open to unconventional things. I did know. It was one of the reasons I'd fallen for him, his willingness to explore, to push boundaries. But this felt different, more personal, more real. Are we talking hypothetically? I asked. We're talking honestly. The kitchen fell quiet except for the hum of the refrigerator. I studied his face, searching for jealousy or judgment. Found neither. Only interest. Only acceptance. What would you do if it wasn't hypothetical? He smiled then, slow and knowing. I'd want to watch. 3 days later, Marcus mentioned a guest coming for dinner. He said it casually while buttering toast, but I
This is
caught
so
the careful
lovely.
tone.
It really
The way
is.
he didn't quite
I'm
meet
glad
my
we could all
eyes.
get together.
Someone
too.
from work? A friend, Leah. I think you'll like her. The name sent a small shock through me. I'd been expecting this, or something like it, since our kitchen conversation. Still, hearing it made everything real. She arrived at 7 carrying a bottle of Malbec and wearing a simple black dress that showed her collarbones. Tall, with short dark hair and eyes the color of storm clouds. When she smiled, I felt something shift inside my ribs. Elena, she said, extending her hand. I've heard wonderful things. Her grip was firm, her palm warm. She held on a beat longer than necessary. We ate pasta with mushrooms and talked about books, travel, the strange weather we'd been having. Leah had lived in Prague for 2 years, spoke 3 languages, worked in marketing for a nonprofit. Normal details that felt charged with possibility. Marcus poured wine liberally, keeping our glasses full. I noticed how he watched us, not possessive or anxious, but attentive, like he was memorizing something. This is excellent, Leah said, raising her glass. To new friendships. We toasted. Our eyes met over the rim, and I felt heat spread from my chest to my fingertips. After dinner, we moved to the living room. I curled into the corner of the couch while Leah chose the chair across from me, close enough to touch if I wanted to. I was beginning to think I did. I should probably head home soon, Leah said, but she made no move to leave. Marcus set down his empty glass and looked between us. The air felt thick with unspoken possibilities. I could hear my pulse in my ears. Actually, he said quietly, if you both want to, I'll give you some privacy. The words landed like a stone in still water, sending ripples through everything. Leah's eyebrows lifted slightly. She turned to me, a question in her expression. Elena? My mouth had gone dry. This was the moment, the choice between curiosity and action. I thought of our kitchen conversation, of Marcus's acceptance, of the heat I'd felt when Leah touched my hand. Yes, I whispered. Marcus stood, kissed the top of my head gently. I'll be upstairs if you need anything. But he didn't go upstairs. I caught the movement in my peripheral vision as he settled into the armchair in the hallway corner, just outside the living room, hidden in shadow but present, watching. The knowledge should have made me nervous. Instead, it made me bold. Leah moved to the couch beside me. Are you sure about this? I've never been more sure of anything. She reached up and touched my cheek, her thumb tracing my jawline. Her skin was soft, her touch gentle but certain. Nothing like Marcus's hands, smaller, more delicate, but no less confident. You're beautiful, she said. I leaned into her palm, closing my eyes. So are you. When I opened them again, she was closer, close enough that I could see the flecks of gold in her gray eyes, smell her perfume, something light and floral that made me think of summer gardens. "May I kiss you?" I nodded, and she leaned in. Her lips were softer than any I'd ever kissed. Different from Marcus in ways I couldn't have imagined. More yielding, more patient. She tasted like wine and something sweeter, something entirely her own. I melted into her, my hands finding her shoulders, her neck, the silky texture of her hair. She made a small sound of approval that sent electricity straight through me. "Is this okay?" she whispered against my mouth. "More than okay." Her hands mapped the curve of my waist, the line of my spine. Everything about her movements was careful, attentive. She kissed me like she had all the time in the world, like she wanted to memorize every detail. I pulled back to look at her, breathless. "I can't believe I'm doing this. How does it feel?" "Like coming home to a place I've never been." She smiled at that, her fingers tracing patterns on my arm. "I know exactly what you mean." We kissed again, deeper this time. I let myself get lost in the sensation, the softness of her skin, the way she smelled, the gentle pressure of her hands. This was what I'd been curious about, what I'd imagined in quiet moments. But the reality was so much richer than any fantasy. Time seemed to slow. The living room faded away until there was only her, only this moment of discovery and desire. I'd crossed a line I couldn't uncross, and I didn't want to. When we finally broke apart, both of us were flushed and breathing hard. "Thank you," I said, surprising myself. "For what?" "For being exactly who you are." She tucked a strand of hair behind my ear. "This doesn't have to be just tonight, you know, if you don't want it to be." The possibility hung between us like a gift I wasn't sure I was ready to unwrap. I became aware of Marcus again then, still positioned in his chair where the hallway met the living room. The dim light from the kitchen cast him in silhouette, but I could feel his attention like a physical presence. He hadn't interfered, hadn't disrupted. He'd simply watched, letting this unfold exactly as it needed to. The realization hit me like cold water. This wasn't just about my curiosity, it was about his too, about what he wanted to see, to experience through observation. I was fulfilling a fantasy for both of us, but in different ways. "He's watching," I whispered to Leah. She glanced toward the shadows and smiled. "I know. Does that bother you?" I considered the question, examining my feelings. Embarrassment? No. Shame? Not that either. What I felt was completion. Like all the pieces of a puzzle I hadn't known I was solving had finally clicked into place. "No," I said. "It doesn't bother me." "Good. Because I think he's enjoying this as much as we are." She was right. I could sense Marcus's satisfaction from across the room, his quiet pleasure in what he was witnessing. This wasn't betrayal, it was collaboration, a shared exploration of boundaries and desires. Leah's hand found mine, our fingers interlacing. "What happens now?" I looked at her, then toward the shadows where my husband waited. The evening had revealed truths about all of us, about what we wanted, what we were willing to share, what we could accept. "Now," I said, "we figure out what this means." The weight of that statement settled over us. This wasn't just a moment anymore, it was a beginning. Leah left around midnight with promises to call, her kiss goodbye lingering on my lips. I watched her taillights disappear down our street, then turned to find Marcus waiting in the doorway. We looked at each other across the living room, husband and wife, changed by what had just happened. The air felt different now, charged with new possibilities and unasked questions.
I feel so vulnerable with you.
"Come here,"
I know,
he said
me too.
softly.
Just hold me.
I
Always.
crossed to him, letting him pull me close. His arms felt familiar and safe, but also somehow new, like I was returning to him as a different version of myself. "How do you feel?" he asked. I rested my head against his chest, listening to his heartbeat. "Like I understand something I didn't before." "About yourself?" "About us." About what we can be together? He stroked my
Marcus,
hair,
I
patient
need you
as
to
always.
hear me.
I'm listening,
Tell me.
Elena.
This
I
is
liked
important.
it, I said,
You
the
have
words
such a
coming
strong,
easier than
gentle
I'd
way about you,
expected.
Marcus.
I
Thank
liked
you,
being
Elena.
with
that
her.
means everything.
I liked that you watched.
Elena, I've
I
been wanting to
liked-
talk to you.
I
What is it,
paused,
Marcus?
searching for
I
the
think we
right
need to be
phrase.
honest.
I liked discovering this part of myself with you there, even though I wasn't participating, especially because you weren't. I pulled back to meet his eyes. You gave me space to explore while still being present. That's love, isn't it? He smiled, the expression tender and proud. Yes, it is. We stood there holding each other, processing the evening's revelations. I thought about Leah's hands, her kiss, the way she'd looked at me, but I also thought about Marcus's acceptance, his willingness to let me have this experience. I want to see her again, I said finally. I know. Is that okay?
I'm so relieved
He
everything
cupped my
worked
face in
out.
his hands.
Me too. It's so
Elena,
good to see you.
I've never seen you
too.
more yourself than you were tonight. Of course it's okay. Relief flooded through me. I love you. I love you too, all of you, including this part. A week later, I met Leah for coffee. We sat in a corner booth at a cafe downtown, hands wrapped around warm mugs, talking
I think this
quietly
is the
about what had
perfect
happened
spot for
between
us.
us.
I agree. It's so peaceful
I
here.
keep thinking about
Just
that
us.
night, she said. So do I. Any regrets? I considered the question seriously. In the days since, I'd examined my feelings from every angle. Guilt? No. Confusion? Some. But regret? Not even close. None, I said. You? None. We smiled at each other across the small table. She reached over and brushed her fingers against mine, a gentle contact that sent familiar warmth through me. Marcus texted me, she said. He did? Nothing inappropriate. Just thanking me for being respectful of your boundaries, of your marriage. I felt a surge of affection for my husband. Even in this, he was looking out for me. What did you say? That I care about you, both of you, and that I'd like to see where this goes, if you're interested. I thought about going home to Marcus, about telling him about this conversation, about the three of us figuring out how to navigate this new dynamic together. It felt scary and exciting and right all at once. I'm interested,
I'm
I
so
said.
glad we're here.
She squeezed my
Me too.
fingers.
It's perfect.
Good.
Just being with you.
That evening,
Always.
I curled up next to Marcus on our couch and told him about my coffee with Leah. He listened without judgment, asking gentle questions, offering quiet support. So what now? He asked when I finished. Now we take it one day at a time, the three of us. He kissed my temple. I can live with that. I settled deeper into his arms, feeling complete in a way I'd never experienced before. I'd been unfaithful to my husband with a woman, and he'd not only watched, but encouraged it. We'd crossed lines I couldn't have imagined crossing, and somehow we'd all come out stronger. I knew what it was like now, and I wanted more. The next few weeks passed in a haze of discovery. Sarah and I texted throughout the day, sharing intimate thoughts and stolen moments of desire. Mark watched it all unfold with quiet satisfaction, sometimes offering gentle guidance, other times simply observing our growing connection with obvious pleasure. Our dinner dates became a regular occurrence. Sometimes we'd go out, the three of us navigating this new dynamic in public spaces, learning to read each other's signals across restaurant tables. Other times we'd stay in, cooking together, the kitchen filled with laughter and lingering touches that promised more intimate moments later. I found myself changing in ways I hadn't expected. The guilt that had initially plagued me transformed into something else entirely, a sense of freedom I'd never known existed. Mark's encouragement had unlocked something in me, something that had been waiting beneath the surface for years. Sarah brought out a playful side I'd forgotten I possessed.
Safe with you.
With
too.
her, I
It's
felt
our little
young
world.
again, adventurous. She taught me things about my own body I'd never discovered, showed me pleasure from angles I'd never explored. And Mark, watching us together, seemed more attracted to me than ever. You're glowing, he told me one evening as we lay in bed after Sarah had gone home. His fingers traced lazy patterns on my skin. I've never seen you this happy. He was right. Despite the unconventional nature of our arrangement, Or perhaps because of it, I felt more
these
myself
quiet
than I had in
moments with you.
years.
Me
We
too.
were writing
It's
our own
perfect.
rules, creating something uniquely ours. No regrets? I whispered into the darkness. His arms tightened around me. Only that we waited so long to try,